Hey, before I get into this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Majority of people that actually end up watching these videos don't even subscribe to the channel. So go ahead, give me a little subscription so you can get more of the content that you love. But let's get into the video. Last year around this time, people were preparing for the NBA draft and anticipating the prospects that were going to be drafted. And a lot of people were saying that that draft class, the 2024 draft class, was one of the weaker ones, especially in recent history. Especially when you take into the fact that they didn't really have any star players to look forward to. Nobody have a Zion-like caliber or Victor-like caliber. Nobody who you could look at and say has superstar potential. But some players have come in this season to kind of prove that narrative wrong. Yeah, sure, you're not probably going to find a superstar in this class, but you're going to find some solid players who can have long-lasting careers in the NBA. And the most notable one is actually the #1 overall pick, and that's none other than Zaccharie Risacher. Now, Zach, I'm going to call him Zach because his first name is very difficult to pronounce. Zach has had a season that has flown under the radar, largely due to how it was received when he first came into the league. I remember when he was drafted, a lot of the things that were being said on Twitter and really just on social media as a whole were more so slandering Zach, asking a lot of people why they would draft him over Alex Sarr. It was a lot of questions surrounding why he was drafted, and a lot of people kind of counted him out. However, he's having a rookie season that is pretty impressive, that has flown under the radar because of early narratives that were set on him. And for this reason, I think a lot of people need to start to respect him. Now, when Zach first started his career in the NBA, he struggled a little bit, which is natural. Although he had played professional overseas and his dad is one of the more famous players in France, as he is a Hall of Famer, when he came to the NBA, Zach struggled immensely to adjust to the physicality and the speed of the NBA game. However, once November had came, he started to turn it around, and this past February proved to be a turning point for him, as he was averaging about 12 points on 47, 44, and 77% shooting splits. And that's pretty impressive, especially for a rookie. And it's even more impressive when you take into context of what all has happened with his team. Over the past couple of months, the Atlanta Hawks have had a very tumultuous season that has had them deal with a lot of injuries, a lot of players going in and out of the lineup. Just a whole bunch of things have been happening. However, Zach has remained consistent and on a constant upward trajectory the entire season. And this trajectory has continued as we have gone into March, as just a couple of days ago, he had a 27-point performance against the Memphis Grizzlies where he put up 11 of 13 from the field. And anytime you can go a whole NBA game with only missing 2 shots is pretty impressive, especially against a team of the Memphis Grizzlies caliber, who are one of the top teams in the Western Conference. Another thing that Zach is good at is his ability to not turn the ball over. That is something that we see a lot of players start to struggle with as their career goes on. That's something that Cade Cunningham is struggling with now, James Harden struggled with a couple years ago. Just throughout their careers, a lot of players tend to struggle with turnovers. However, Zach has made his mark in the league being somebody who knows not to turn the ball over and typically keeps the ball on his side of the court, as he's one of the few players in the NBA who has had multiple games, 30-point games, without a turnover. And he has served as a very reliable source, especially as the Hawks have had a lot of turnover within this organization this season. With the trade of DeAndre Hunter to the Cavs and Bogdan Bogdanovic to the Clippers, he has been forced and faced with a role to step up. That's something that a lot of rookies typically don't have to do, but when they are put in that position, they don't respond very well. But Zach has done the exact opposite, and although he can't replace the likes of a Jalen Johnson, who is more than likely going to be an all-star this year, he's done as good of a job as he can. However, unfortunately, Zach did suffer a mid-season injury just like Jalen Johnson, but it was not as severe, and he rebounded back from it and has actually played pretty well since he's come back, as he's averaging about 15 points with 3.7 rebounds and 1.5 assists while shooting an astonishing 53% from the field and 50% beyond the arc in a 14-game sample size, which is impressive. Of course, for a rookie to be putting up 15 points per game, although we're not too worried about his rebounding and his assists because that's not really what he's there for him to be putting up those numbers as a rookie is very impressive, especially coming off an injury. But what really takes the cake is the efficiency in which he's doing it on. I mean, 53% from the field, 50% from behind the arc. That is phenomenal numbers that not a lot of players in the NBA are able to do over such a time. That is elite level production of shooting right there. Now, what makes Zach so deadly in the NBA, even though he's so young, is how diverse his offensive skill set is. We know Zach is phenomenal. He can shoot the pill off the ball, but he also brings a sense of just knowing what to do. His basketball IQ is one of the things that made him most appealing in the draft process, and it shows this season. He knows how to get to his spots on the court. He knows when to cut to the basket. He can also make his own shot and drive to the basket, and he knows where to move at off the ball, which is very impressive for a rookie and what makes him a threat from almost anywhere on the court. And it's even better when you have a player like Trae Young who can find you almost anywhere on the court. And even when he has that ball in his hands, it makes it even better. His footwork is that of a veteran, as he does have a nice little left to right Euro step that he likes to pull out every once in a while that is elite, which I'm sure he learned it overseas, as that is literally called the Euro step. And we've seen players like the likes of Manu Ginobili and Nick Batum bring it out. And something else that is dang near equally as promising as his ability on the offensive side of the ball is his defensive potential as well. Although he'll probably not be as good defensively as he is offensively, just based off what we have seen so far this season, his defensive potential is definitely there, just strictly from a length perspective and a basketball IQ perspective. Now, he struggled to adjust to physicality throughout the season, considering that he has a thinner, skinnier frame. But of course, as we know, he can just put on muscle to kind of counteract this. That can help him as he goes throughout his NBA career, which will help him with rebounds. And on top of his ability to have such an advanced mindset for a rookie and just know what to do on the court, I'm sure that will pay dividends on the defensive side of the ball. And his IQ being so high makes sense when you see how he doesn't turn the ball over. That is just something that you don't really see from a lot of rookies, but those are some things that he excels at. He doesn't turn the ball over, and he's very efficient when he has the ball in his hands. However, despite all of this, he has been overlooked this season by the likes of other players like Stephon Castle, Jalen Wells, and Alex Sarr, which is cool. Those players are good in their own right. Stephon Castle has been big for the Spurs this season. Jalen Wells is starting on the Memphis Grizzlies, who is going to be a playoff team in the West. And Alex Sarr has been big to that Washington Wizards team with Jordan Poole and whoever they might draft in this upcoming draft. However, that shouldn't force you to look over someone like Zach, because he is the number one pick, and although he wasn't the number one pick that everybody would have liked, he's still putting up some nice numbers for, especially when you consider the other numbers that have been put up by other players in the draft class. He's putting about 11 points, 3 rebounds, and like 1 assist with about 1.3 when you combine his steals and blocks together. So those are some good stats, especially for a rookie. And this makes it even more crazy that people are just looking over him when he honestly should be getting Rookie of the Year hype. And I think as the season progresses and as the Hawks continue to fight for a seed in the playoffs, as they are right now the 7th seed, Zach will continue to get better as he has throughout the entire season. He has some pretty good traits that he's good at right now that I'm pretty sure will just be even better for him as he goes throughout his career. He's already mastered 2 of the hardest things for rookies to be good at, so imagine what can happen if he masters these other strengths and weaknesses that he has. You know, in a more weaker draft class, Zach has the opportunity to kind of prove the narrative wrong. Although I don't see him becoming the superstar that we're probably going to see from some players in this upcoming draft class, some players in the past draft classes, I think Zach is still going to be a very solid player for the Atlanta Hawks team. And I think he can prove the narrative wrong on this being a weak draft class, because in my opinion, it's not. But of course, this is just my opinion. This is just the way I view the way Zach has played this season. I think he's been one of the better rookies and one of the better players throughout the entire association. However, these are just my opinions. If you're an Atlanta Hawks fan, just let me know how you feel about Zach's play throughout the season. Just let me know how you feel about the Hawks and how you feel about this video in general. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave it a like and make sure you subscribe too. I make videos like this all the time. But that's all I have for now. And until next time, peace.